Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dean Rogers. Welcome to the Dean Rogers Show. Today, we got a special guest, Nicholas Nick. Before we bring him on, I'm going to give you guys a little bit about his background. So Nick has got a unique career where he started working as in a 9 to 5 until he was 32 years old as a restaurant manager. Then he transitioned into helping be a part of a real estate coaching business for 3 years. Then he started his own lead generation company, Lead Mining Pros, which you can go check it out, leadminingpros.com. And we're going to get into all the juicy stuff about that. You guys can check out Nick at _Nick on Instagram. So check him out there. We're going to also share coupon code DEAN with you later when we go through leadminingpros.com. Nick, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, dude, so we just recently met, and instantly, like, I just felt some good energy, man. Felt some good energy, and you're passionate about what you do, and you also like to nerd out on data like me. So we're like two dudes who are passionate. You're driving around a sweet ride with your Instagram on it, but you like to nerd out too. So I'm like, this guy's cool, man. Let's connect. So pleasure to have you here. Let's dive into your background, man, because I think it's always fun. Everyone's got a different story, different background. So you were Mr. 9 to 5 for a while, right?
Yeah. I was a career employee. I was definitely on the hamster wheel, and I my first stint was 13 years for restaurants, and I did that forever. And it's hard to get off that wheel, you know. And my one piece of advice to anybody watching, I don't know if you'll agree or not, but you got to walk out. If you go to your boss and you say, "Hey, I want to quit," they'll just pay you more money. And then you're back on the hamster wheel.
Wow.
Right. And it's like when you do something for 13 years, I knew nothing else. I had to burn the boats. So, when I left, I did walk out. Of course, it was circumstantial.
Did you have a torch in your hand? Did you burn?
Yeah,
burn the place down?
Actually, for anyone who knows restaurant industry, my average work week was about 60 hours a week.
Sure.
And the reason why I quit was they transferred me to a new restaurant, and they had me scheduled 90 hours a week, 6 weeks straight.
Wow.
And, I'm a hard worker, but I'm salary too. So I don't make a dime more when I work 60 to 90, and I'm not the kind of guy that just goes with the flow on crazy stuff like that. So I pushed back. They didn't listen. I walked out the next day. And, I saw it as really like what had to be done. Looking back, I'll be honest, and this might resonate with some people. When I first left my career, I hated that I spent 13 years doing something I was no longer doing. I was like, "Nick, you're an idiot. How could you have done this for so freaking long?"
Wow.
I probably went through a 9-month depression just because I basically divorced restaurants.
Yeah.
Right. Literally mourning this 13-year stint that I had invested so much time in. Moving into my next career, I ended up becoming an executive within the first 9 months in a totally new industry of real estate coaching.
Wow.
And when that happened, I was like, maybe this restaurant industry thing did me a solid here, right? And I started realizing that my extreme experience actually not only elevated me in the restaurant career, but elevated me in anything that I then did.
Wow,
so,
yeah.
Just to share that with everyone I don't know how I'm going to leave this job, or I don't know what I'm going to do. You can do it. And you're a badass at more than just your job,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So I think what you probably got from going through that, even though you've dealt with, kind of like some regret, depression, just some negative feeling towards it. Maybe some of the silver lining between that was that you learned some of the structure, you learned how the organization kind of worked and how things needed to operate. And so
Yeah.
because of that extreme experience, like you said, you were able to apply that into other areas and
Yeah.
understand how things need to work. Because in the restaurant business, there's a lot of moving parts, right?
Right.
From the sounds of it, it was probably a large restaurant chain, or maybe
Yeah.
a
Sure was.
collective group of different restaurants that were owned by a larger company, investment company. So some great experience there, and man, you got to apply that somewhere else, to probably somewhere that you had some more passion and excitement about upside and what you were doing and how that was going.
Right. Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And ironically, the restaurant I worked at was called Leroy Selman's. You may have heard that name. He's a Hall of Famer for the Tampa Bay Bucks. And after he retired, he founded these high-end barbecue chains here in Tampa. And
Yeah.
that actually was the last chain I worked at. I worked there for 4 years, and and it was awesome. Learning the ins and outs. I trained over 1,000 people in my career
Wow.
to work. So as we get into my career, further down the road now with this lead generation company, training people is the easiest thing I could ever do, which is the hardest thing for many other
For
solopreneurs or
most
many
people.
other, yeah, for most people. And you know what? It's literally that. I mean, literally thousands, and at least 1,000, that's for sure. And so it's having all that experience, this mountain of experience behind you, makes you feel unstoppable after you get past that regret phase.
Yeah, yeah. So that training, was it because they had such good training that they brought in, third party companies to really build out that structure and everything that allowed you guys to learn the best ways to do it? Was that what it was?
No, no, I'm actually glad you asked. It was actually that much because turnover is really high in the restaurant industry. And, you're training. And I was also an area director for some time. So I was maybe running 5 restaurants. What they'd found is I had really taken training very seriously. And
Mm.
I had a meticulous style to scheduling people. We had tests, we had expectations, we had a great orientation, and my employees were just better than the rest of the company's
Wow.
employees. So they ended up asking me to duplicate my training system really in every store. Restaurants are often trial by fire. For many, for the managers, for the staff, for
Yeah.
the vice presidents, you know, and lucky for me, I was given the freedom to be authentic and be unique. And they never put me in a box. Thank God. If they did, I probably would have quit anyways. But, they never put me in the box, and they allowed me to be creative and come up with a lot of next level solutions.
Yeah. You were an entrepreneur within the organization.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Heck
Right.
yeah.
I
So
never knew it.
yeah, you never knew it. So so you transition a big life decision to walk
Yeah.
away from something you worked so many years at, and now you're moving into another business. You've elevated and escalated up through levels very
Yeah.
quickly, and then you decide to start a lead generation company. So
Yeah.
what was the epiphany? What was the vision that came together to say, you know what, I got to start this?
So it was actually, when I revisit my memory, it goes back further than I remember. I really call like my life somewhat of a Bible story. When you hear the whole story out there, you realized I was bred to do what I'm doing now. Restaurants taught me the physical operations, training, systems, hiring, in-person interviews, everything physically. The real estate education company taught me everything to deliver those same skills digitally.
Yeah.
Okay. It's because they were all remote. You don't need to teach someone real estate face to face. You can do it over a Zoom call just like this. So I was like, there's like this whole remote world. So once I put those two together, then this thing happened. We had a student call me up one day. She just spent $3,000 on direct mail. I'm still working at the education company, and her phone didn't even ring once.
Mm.
Now, I'm not saying that anything about direct mail. For all we know, we could put the wrong phone number on the postcard by accident. You could do a miskey. There's a bunch of opportunity for error whenever you're doing stuff like that. And she was heartbroken. And you know what? At the time, I only made about $70,000 a year, and our program was about $30,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So when people paid half of my salary for 1 year and they were let down, I wore it heavy.
Yeah.
So when I got off the phone with her, I was like, dude, there's got to be a better way. And then what I started doing within this organization was teaching everyone cold calling. You don't have the money for direct mail, or you don't want to deal with an additional expense. Let me teach you how to cold call completely free. And so I actually founded the vision 4 years or 3 years earlier while working with the real estate students. It was a solution I created to solve their problem as an executive, not even as an entrepreneur, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So that was the inception. Then what ended up happening was I ended up changing all of our events to cold calling from direct mail. It was great. We changed the whole company over because it was free and easier and everyone was successful. So then when it comes time for me to separate from that company, I go home, I start working from home, and I start cold calling every day, 300 to 600 dials a day. My vision at the time was not a cold calling company. It was, I saw my students close deals. Now it's time for me to close a deal. I was an executive. I'm ready to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a real estate investor. Okay. and I was ready. And I helped so many people close deals. I'm like, I already have the proof of concept. I know I'm capable. Let's put it all together. So what happens next is I then get so obsessed about generating leads that I don't close any deals. And, I realized, Dean, I'm not a closer. It's not my style.
Yeah.
I'm not a pusher. I'm a puller. I'm a customer service guy. Customer service guys aren't closers. We're lead generators, And so I realized after 3 months with no deals closed, but over 200 leads generated, that I was like, damn, I'm really good at generating leads. And like most people who don't have an official career yet, I leaned into what was working the best at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And before I knew it, one guy called me up literally the week of my birthday, 6 years ago. Called me up, Nick, I don't have time to cold call. I see you're cold calling. Will you cold call for me? Yeah, sure will. Another guy called, will you cold call for me? Yeah, sure will. Cut to 6 years later, we do about $1 million a year in sales. We've been open for 6 years. We have a satisfaction guarantee. We're no contracts, no commitments. So people can try us without being, oh, no, I can't take this on as overhead. You don't have to. Give us a shot. Try out one of the packages. I almost call what we do a create your own adventure book for real estate investors, but I've really built this company brick by brick as like a lead generation. And my goal is to make it like an empire. I want to be the Walmart of lead generation, if you will. We're on every store. Everyone knows about us. We're a household name,
Yeah. Lead mining pros, man. I love it. So, dude, this is where you and I can geek out a little bit and add some value for the listeners. So what about, so your business does cold calling and texting. And you told me you do it to a level of precision from an analytics standpoint, and everything. Like you would probably hear some of these Facebook marketers talk about, they got all their KPIs dialed in.
Yeah.
It's this cost per lead, right? And then you should spend about this much to get a deal. You guys do that to this level for cold calling and texting, which is honestly quite a bit harder because you don't necessarily have the Facebook that automatically generates your budget, that then automatically tells you how many clicks and all that stuff. So you had to have put a lot of effort to get it down to that detail. So let's first talk about what about cold calling and texting without doing a masterclass. What do you think you guys do unique that allows to generate quality leads for investors? Because that's what they're going to want to know, right? Any listener, including myself, I'm like, let me listen in. Like, what are these guys doing that's generating quality leads compared to the next guy who's generating leads?
And, so what I'm going to share here is duplicatable for everybody. I'm going to give all of our secrets, and they're not secrets. The secret is consistency.
Yeah.
And focusing on the end result. But I'm going to tell you exactly how we do that. So I'm not just going to give you fluff. And an eagle's going to swoop down and
you got a parrot up there or what?
Yes, I'm outside today, so we are not immune to the elements. But yeah, so here's a couple things that happen. Number one, we recommend absentee owners with 35% or greater equity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are absolutely hands down the greatest lists for cold calling and text messaging.
Tell me why. Tell me
Right.
why, baby.
Oh man, dude, I hope you're ready. So when you call someone, they have to be in a certain mindset. And that's not a negative one. People call me all the time, Nick, I got this hot list of pre-foreclosures for you to call. It's going to be amazing. No, it's not. It's not going to be amazing. Pre-foreclosures are the worst list to cold call. And here's the reasons why. The more distressed they are, two things. The harder they are to find. If they've abandoned a home, they've abandoned a couple cell phones along the way. And if they're abandoning cell phones, then that means we might not have the right number. They're going to be harder to pinpoint. So that's number one. Number two, if you finally get them on the phone, their head's going to be so wrapped up with negativity and circumstance and situation. They're going to be so victimized, for lack of a better word, by what they're going through that they're not even going to be able to have an educated conversation with you. It's like you ever call your mom while she's having a bad day. It's very similar to what that conversation is like. We don't talk about the things we're supposed to. We just end up hearing about their bad day. And now we lose 20 minutes of our time when we could be talking to generated leads. So let's go back to absentees. Absentees are guaranteed to have a second home. So you're already calling someone about another property, right? And I'll give you one example because I have a couple cars. If you come up to me and knock on my door and you ask me to buy the piece of shit in my front yard, absolutely, haul it off, right? If you knock on my door and you want to buy my daily driver, I'm going to say, not a chance. Okay. Yeah. And so it's like, that is exactly what talking to the absentees are doing, is they are talking to someone about their extra property, something that they might be tired of. And to give everyone perspective, I have a home in Phoenix that I cash flow over 100% on to this day. I rent it out for $3,400. It cost me $1,500 a month to pay. I just had a plumbing pipe burst and 2 tenants move out. I'm still positive cash flow with all these issues. And I still would sell it if someone called at that time.
What's
I'm
your
past
number?
the issues now.
Yeah,
exactly. It's on the website whenever we get there. But what I'm getting at is even someone like me who's got 100% cash flow, timing is everything. And if you called me while my home's being remodeled and 2 tenants walk out, and another tenant stealing from the other tenants, I'm like, please buy this property, right? And so I just want to share, I'm even in best case scenarios and I would still consider selling. Right. So that's what we go for on the absentee. And those conversations are so good all the time. The last thing I'll share, absentee is the only list you can even approach at scale that performs. If you want to call absent or pre-foreclosures, maybe there's 1,000 of those in your market. You want to call tax delinquents? Yeah, there might be 3,000 of those. But what's that? 3 weeks worth of work? I mean, it's not going to be a continuous, consistent lead generation strategy. It's those lists don't perform that well. So you're also not going to have a good taste in your mouth about cold calling. So if you're watching this and you're like, cold calling didn't work for me, but you use the list I just mentioned, I think I know why.
Wow. That's some insight right there. And I got to say, you probably know a little bit about this considering you've worked with 7,000 clients. So you might know some data around that. And I will say, when I've gone and looked at my list, right, or my KPIs rather, in my CRM and what's performed best, and I've looked specifically at direct mail because it's list driven, I see that my absentee lists perform the best, right? It's at least half of my deals, and I'll get some that sprinkle that are vacant or that are tax delinquent or probate, stuff like that. But the most consistent is definitely the absentee. So you're helping kind of support that theory. Man, that's some valuable insight right there. And you can spend the time and effort if you got a small, tiny budget and you're looking for just that first or that next deal. maybe you do
Right.
go scratch around on some pre-foreclosures and spend that time knocking doors and doing stuff
Yeah.
like that. But if you're wanting to scale and you're wanting to do multiple deals and create
Right.
consistency in your business, you need a consistent source of quality leads.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying this all loud so I can hear myself say it because I'm getting excited about
Yeah.
dialing in on, okay, where are these quality leads coming from? So I think that's good. Now, what do you guys do? What are your callers saying when they're
Okay.
generating these leads for your clients? Is there some secret sauce script that's just so
You know,
fire that no one could touch it or burn them or what?
again, so I'll tell you this story. I had a competitor call me the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, I got a team of VAs, man. I'm working on them, but dude, we're not getting the results we got when we worked with you. Can you tell me what your secret is? Okay. And I'll tell you, I actually told him that's how open I am. You can have a competing business and I will tell you what my secret is. And my
Oh,
secret is I make my employees say my script. That's my secret. My
yeah.
script is available for download on the website. You could all go get it right now
Ooh.
at leadminingpros.com. And I just make them read it. I have an operations manager who listens to 7 calls per employee per week and has a quality assurance role. And all she does is make sure my employees are happy and that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. The trick is happy. You never want one of your team members in fear of making a mistake. Okay. Mistakes are going to happen. What we try to do is we try to point out great things that happen. All right. We don't beat them up when things are bad. Hey, we see you could have made some improvement here. We want them happy working for me, not, oh, I hope they're not listening. They're going to yell at me again. I learned that from the real estate or from the restaurant world. The more nervous I make you, the more mistakes I'm going to make you make. And
Wow.
so we try to keep our employees happy and at ease. And I've got one other really big secret. I actually offer 2 different teams, Americans and Filipinos. Now, my average employee's been with me for 4.5 years. We've been open for 6 years starting in January. And how do I keep them? Well, one, the Filipinos, I pay them well. They're not going anywhere. 2, the Americans, I pay them anywhere from $12 to $17 an hour. But the trick is I let them work whenever they want to. I
Mm.
literally run my American team the same way Uber runs their drivers. Uber does not give their drivers a single schedule, right? No one's like, oh crap, I got to clock into Uber. They're going to dock my pay, right?
Yeah.
No, Uber is an optional choice. You decide to clock in and start driving. And I
Interesting.
give my employees that same liberty. What happens is now when these Americans are calling for you, they're only calling when they want to be calling. I
Wow. Wow.
technically can, yeah,
That's
that's a
cool, dude.
morale move. That's a morale move.
Where'd you
If
learn that
they're
one?
happy, dude, restaurants, man, restaurants. Restaurants taught me how to make employees really happy while not giving them the world. You don't have to pay them 3 times more than the competitor. You create conditions that actually speak to their desires, like work whenever you want to. And I tell them right up front, this job will not pay your mortgage, but we will pay your car payment. And I say that because I don't want you to think you're going to make $60,000 a year cold calling part time, right? So I set the expectation early. I tell them they can work whenever they want, and you can work 40 hours a week if you want. But you know what else I learned? Americans suck after 25 hours a week.
Yeah.
So I actually allow all my employees to work 25 hours a week. And then I have them stop right there because I've learned once they go to 40, there's a decrease in lead gen. And then once there's a decrease in lead gen, I'm now just hurting my customers. So
Yeah.
those are some of our secrets to happiness and productivity that I execute with my team.
Wow, man, that's amazing. That's something that you had to have obviously get dialed in and figure out, and
Yeah,
the results will speak for themselves,
yeah, 100%.
That's cool, man. Okay, so how did you guys take, you kind of laid out how you're able to get results and in the cold calling and texting. How'd you dial in the analytics? How'd you get that all figured out?
So I use this awesome software called CallTools. That's our dialer.
Okay.
And what I have my team do is create something called an investigative report. So one really unique service we offer completely free. If anyone's a customer of ours, at the end of every week, they can book a one-on-one Zoom call with me, where in that Zoom call, my team will provide us a complete breakdown of all your KPIs, all of the stats and information, and then I deliver them to you with my expert analysis, and I tell you exactly what to do next. We also have a satisfaction guarantee. So this is a great time to let me know if you're dissatisfied, and then we offer free lead gen to help increase your satisfaction level. All right. So all these things happen in this call. We talk about your practices. We talk about your KPIs. If you want, I can actually pull up one of the KPI forms if you'd like, and I can show you everything that we cover with our clients on those meetings.
Let's do
Can you
it.
do that real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me show you real quick. So
The nerd in me is curious.
yeah, you're gonna love this, and we're probably gonna have a couple offline conversations just to even nail down your statistics. I see this stuff so clearly; it's literally like Neo walking around in the Matrix, you know. But okay, I just got this pulled up. I think you can
I
see
can see
this
it.
now.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so this is Tamara. Um, we are 2 out of 3 weeks into her campaign. Now, her campaign is doing exceptionally well. So I will say that she's on the extreme high side
Okay. Where
with
should my
her.
eyeballs be looking?
Okay. All right. So where we'll start is on the left here. It says dials, connects, and leads.
Yep.
Okay. Then in week one, we did 1,123 dials. 88 people picked up the phone. 8 became a lead. That's crazy. 10% of the people we spoke to became a lead.
That's pretty
Right?
good, man. Yeah.
That's bananas. Next week, 1,118 dials made. 104 people picked up. 11 people became a lead. Still 10%. Then that's the breakdown of the campaign at face value. Then we go a little deeper. Wrong numbers, 10. Busy, 7. Failed, 0. That's great. Failed means disconnected. So this campaign just crushed. Then we get more granular. Contact rate, 8.57. And nowadays, for those who don't know, 8.57 is incredibly high. 5 years ago when we started, I would tell you that anything below 7 was too low. Post-COVID, I'll tell you that anything above 7, you should be thankful for. Okay. Like we are in a whole new world now with answering. However, lead gen is actually up 2 to 3 times. So because lead gen is up, even though contact rate's down, we're still producing a very high lead flow. So 8.5% picked up the phone. And out of the 192 that answered, only 10 said they were the wrong number, which means that of our answers, we got a 95% accuracy rate. That's our skip tracing. We only charge 7 cents per search, and we got a 95% accuracy rate on her campaign. So that's everything cold calls. Down below here, we have her text message campaign because this package she purchased does have both, like you mentioned earlier. So we sent out 1,650 texts, 99 responses came in, and 8 of those 99 responses were basically positive conversations that we went back and forth on. So then she got 8 leads from that, 19 leads from cold calls, total of 27 leads, and she's only 2/3 in to an $833 package. Just to share with you. So 27 leads at 66% of $833. So she slayed it.
Yeah.
She slayed. So just to give you a little idea of the KPIs we cover and the stats that we deem most important to a successful cold calling campaign, these are them.
So let's see. So the SMS campaign produced 8 leads. The cold calling campaign, how many did that produce? Would that
produced 19?
Okay. I was going to say, did it
19.
produce 11 because 8 plus the 11 got 19?
That's right. So 8 is week 1, 11 is week 2. Completely separate results.
Okay. Cold calling is all in the top part.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so this
Yeah.
person got 27 leads then.
Yeah. And she's not done. She still had one more week left. I already spoke to her. She closed a deal within her first week and a half, and she has three more under contract. Just from
Wow.
this campaign. Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm about to say,
Crazy.
because I mean, I'd say the average, depending upon what marketing strategy you're doing, you're probably closing one deal out of every 20 to 30 leads. So
Right.
she got one deal done, but she's got three more under contract. So
Yes.
uh that's pretty wild. Now,
She she's killing it.
yeah, she's killing it. So I'm curious to like
Yeah.
go further, right? Because I know enough
Yeah.
about cold calling and texting. So the cold calling campaigns, at what point do you call it a lead? Have you literally gone through and had a full blown conversation with the seller? Hey, I see you're the owner of Wada Wada, and are you interested
Right.
in selling? It's some level of questioning to get them engaged.
Yeah.
Do you then have a full blown conversation about, the condition of the house and what price they're interested in before you even considered it a lead when it comes to texting? Because obviously on the phone, you're going to go through the script, but what's your texting
Right.
script like? Do you
So
just say, hey,
the
you're interested in selling? Yes, it's a lead, or you qualify more?
So everything we do, we provide an extra layer, right? So what I explain to our clients is we don't qualify the leads. We ask them qualifying questions, and their answers allow you to qualify them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever have a lead generator, ninja tip, don't let them qualify your leads. You do not want a $4 an hour VA
Right.
deciding which sellers you should get and which
Right.
ones you shouldn't. Okay?
Right.
Ninja
Right.
tip there. So here's what we do to combat that. With cold calling, we ask 12 questions about the property on the phone. Like you said, we have them, the energy's flowing. On text messaging, we ask 6 questions. We send 3 different text messages, 2 questions in each text. And I'll cover those real quick. The first text says, "Hi, this is Amy." Nice American girl's name. "Hi, this is Amy. I'm following up with you about 123 Sycamore Street. I was wondering if you've ever considered selling." Right? First 2 questions. Do you own this property? Do you want to sell it? Yes, I do. Whatever. Okay, great. Well, what's the condition and what is the price of this property? Okay, they answer, okay, brand new or remodeled, $200,000. All right, great. And then what is your timeline to sell? And why are you considering selling? So then we compile the entire transcript and then we send everything over to you in the text message. So everything we got out, we're not just blasting and sending you yeses, right? I wanted to take it a step further. Everything we do at Lead Mining is consider it like a managed, done for you system. This is all we've been doing for 6 years. So there's no we don't need script advice. I'll take it. But you don't have
Yeah.
to, oh, I don't have a script. You don't need a script. This is what we do. We've got it covered. And then we handle everything. And then you follow up. Now, what the problem that occurs, if you asked me, what is the biggest roadblock for people that hire my business? Right. Well, I think for someone who's in football, you can probably resonate. Like if something is too easy, people take it for granted. And, when you hire me for $833 and you're 2 out of 3 weeks in and you get 27 leads, right? The body gets lazy, right? 2 weeks ago, you were like, yeah, I'm going to pay you for leads. If I just got one lead, bro, like everything would be different, dude. Everything would change. Then I sent you 27 and all of a sudden you're like, maybe the next one will be hotter. I'm not even going to call that one, dude. I don't know if it looks hot enough yet, right? So what we've found is investors cherry pick leads when their campaigns go well. So I have this awesome onboarding video that everyone will see if they decide to sign up. It's 35 minutes long and it like mindsets you to like calling every freaking lead
Yeah.
that comes in, handling everything. So to give you some numbers, because I heard you mention them earlier, I'm a number nut job. So I've got a lot of data. One is 1 in 3 leads our clients are reporting are open to receiving an offer on cold calling. Let me be more specific. On text messaging, it might be 1 in 5 to 1 in 6. Text messaging does have a higher tire kicker rate because it's just a text. There's so
Yeah.
much opportunity for bullshit. So that's number one. The tire kickers, and the cold calling. Oh, our clients, the
Yes.
onboarding video. It helps mindset them to make sure that they do the work, because I don't have contracts or commitments. So when people hire me, I really need them to maximize their campaign, get as much work done as possible, and really pursue these leads. And I was going over the stats with you. So what we found is our best clients are getting contracts one in every 10 to 12 leads. Our best clients. Our average client is getting a contract one in every 18 to 20 leads. That's kind of how the numbers pan out.
Which is
A little
good.
bit.
Which is
Yeah,
good.
it's great.
Which is really good.
Yeah,
Those are high performing lead generation quality leads if you're hitting numbers
right.
like that.
Right. And it's still a numbers game, So some clients call, Nick, I got 10 leads, but none of them are screaming hot off the press, ready to go. And I'm like, look, man, I get that. But just so you know, I just spoke to someone who bought the same campaign and got 2 leads. Right. And then what we need to do is, if the leads are flowing, we have to change it to numbers game. And my advice to someone who has 10 leads, but none of them are hot off the press, is, hey, let's duplicate the campaign. If we get 10 again, now we got 20. One of them is going to be an easy lead. One of them is going to be a tough lead. You probably have 3 deals in those 20 leads. Are you going to be there when the time is right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a numbers game. And at the end of the day, your KPIs are saying these are what the results are that you should get.
Right.
And those are really good numbers, man. Especially considering that they're coming from cold calling and texting, which when I was doing interview with Carlos Reyes, he was saying 1 out of 55 cold calling leads is the national average, right?
Sure.
And you're basically saying cold calling and texting is right around like 1 out of 10 to 12 for the high performing, and 1 out of 18 to 20.
And not to, I love Carlos, but he owns Call Geeks.
Yes.
And they're a different cold calling company.
Yep.
And without taking a jab, I think that we could see the difference in the performance, right? And it's like, I think that he's more machine gun blasting and I'm more like sniping. My number one goal is that sellers have an amazing experience with my cold caller. Okay. I'm literally showing up as customer service, right? We have a motto, and that is, be the light in their day. If you're calling someone and they're in a bad mood, cheer them up, dude. Don't, whatever, and hang up on them. Like, try to literally change their day if that's possible. Like, that's the attitude I give my callers. And I think that that's why our numbers are so much lower. We literally lead with love, as hippie as that might sound. I am in a tiki hut right now.
You
so
are,
a little hippie.
Are you wearing pants right now? I'm not sure.
They're short. They're short pants.
That's awesome, man. So let's end it with this. Let's share what your packages look like, right? Leadminingpros.com. And there's a coupon Dean. So if you guys buy one of these packages, you get more with the package. So let's just flash that real quick and share with the audience how this kind of works. Like, if you're interested, like I am, let's look at these packages so we know kind of like what the options are and what that looks like.
Absolutely. I'm gonna do a screen share here real quick and chat about some of this stuff. All right. So here we got all of our lead. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear
you
that?
sound fine. You got like a power boat behind you, but it's kind of muted
in
out.
the
It's
distance.
Fine. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. This is the important part, right? But so here we have what I coined as all-inclusive lead generation. Okay. Why did I call it that? Because I love Sandals Resorts and I want to spend more time there. Okay. So with this all-inclusive lead generation, we pull the list, we skip trace it, we cold call it, and we text it. One price, no contracts, no commitments, no hidden fees, nothing like that.
Nice.
With the coupon code DEAN that you just mentioned, you will receive 10% more of everything. So let's use the King Kong package, for example. Instead of 2,000 records, you'll get 2,200. Instead of 3,000 dials, you'll get 3,300. Instead of 1,500 text messages, you'll get 1,650. Now, how did we come up with the 10% bonus? Well, I used to give 10% off. But then I quickly realized that you don't want to save $94 whenever you come to me. You want more at bats to make
Yeah. Yeah.
$50,000,
Yeah.
right? So that's exactly why we give 10%. So if you use that code Dean, it will save you $1 and get you a 10% bonus. Now, as you can tell, I like to have fun with names like Shotgun, Bazooka, King Kong, and the 10-week Titan. Basically, these are all my American packages. Right beneath these, you'll see my foreign cold callers. I keep everything really simple. Same exact sizes, different flavor. That's it. And I even have lead averages for every person so you can completely understand what to expect. And I'll tell you right now how to gauge these averages. If you're in a saturated market, you're going to be closer to 4. If you're in a more rural market, you're going to be closer to 14. And that's basically how the numbers work. You know, it's really simple. When I look over these stats with you, I'm going to cover everything like I did in that campaign. But one cool thing about hearing from me directly is I've handled all the customer service over the last 6 years. So when I give you this advice, you're getting it from someone who's probably talked to nearly all 7,000 of my customers. So that's why we know our numbers so well and everything else. So what I normally recommend people do, honestly, is start off with the Filipinos. The Americans aren't a necessity. You know, what I recommend Americans for is if you think that your clientele might be sophisticated, or if you think that your clientele might not be open to other cultures. Okay. Those are the 2 times I would use an American on a mandatory basis. But in most cases, the Filipinos do an amazing job nationwide. So I really recommend starting there. They're easier on the budget and they'll show you exactly how we work. So you'll get to see how we're doing and how our relationship works before you maybe get more invested or decide to spend more money.
Yeah, that's awesome. You probably have some good insight. Whoever's interested in signing up could come jump on, chat with you about what do you recommend for the package based on my market, based on my budget, based on my area, all that kind of stuff. So that's cool, man.
This phone number here is actually my cell phone. If someone did call it now, I wouldn't be able to answer, but I normally answer about 95% of the time. This live chat here also goes directly to my cell phone, but you can reach out to me. I'm super available. And one thing that I offer with all purchases, because of my unique experience, is free coaching and consulting. You get a lead, you don't know what to do, call me. Let me tell you what to do. As a lead generator, I'm a firm believer that no matter what I do, if I help you close a deal, it still falls in the realm of my responsibility as a lead generator, whether that's advice, connecting you with one of my other big clients who buys, or whatever it might be. However I can help you close a deal, it's my motto to make sure you get the tools you need. So I do offer a lot of extra love and care than some of my competitors. And I think that's why we've really been so successful.
That's awesome, man. I mean, what's cool about this is it's like a pay as you go. Like you're not like locked into a contract, like you said, and committed to it. We're not like having to constantly provide you and update you with data. You're already pulling that. You know what data works and gets the results. It's pretty damn cool, man. So I can say without question, we're going to try it out and see how we like it. And I'm excited to test it. So,
100%. You could see why I had all that passion now whenever you met me. It's like I literally created a genie's bottle that does spit out cash as long as, you know, the follow-up is made and all the leads are called. And that onboarding video is so ninja. So even if you sign up or anyone else, I recommend whoever signs up watches it, send it to your VAs, send it to your acquisitions manager. It's really a mindset video. And I promise if you listen, you'll close 2 to 3 times more deals than you would if you didn't watch that video. Guarantee. Literally guarantee.
Love it. Well,
it's cool.
Nick, thanks for being here. Leadminingpros.com. You guys can use the coupon code Dean. Again, if you want to connect with Nick online, you can go to the_Nick to connect with him there. So, dude, thanks for coming on. Super love to nerd out about data, quality leads, closing deals. So, been a pleasure to have you, man. And any last words?
Let's kill it.
Let's kill it. Let's go. Right on, man. Well, guys, until
Yeah.
next time, peace.
See ya.